It felt like winter hit Japan early this year, and I definitely was not ready. One day it was warm enough to leave the windows open, and the next day I was searching for my thickest socks, wondering why my house suddenly felt colder inside than out. I'm preparing my Japanese house for the cold, even though it's a little bit too late. If you've ever lived in Japan, you'll know here that the cold feels a little bit different. So today I'm going to share what happens when you start your winter prep too late, what worked, what didn't, and cozy little tricks that are helping me survive the winter chill here in Japan. I have actually been sick for most of this week, and honestly, it's been a bit rough. You know, that kind of cold where you feel like you're finally getting better, but your body still just wants to stay under the futon. Well, it's finally the weekend now, and I probably should be resting a little bit more, but the house is freezing, and I've totally run out of groceries. As many teachers know, one of the hazards of working with children is that if anything's going around the kids, it's bound to come your way. And at the moment, there have been quite a few schools shut down in my area due to large cases of influenza. Now, I'm lucky I don't have influenza. I've just caught a cold because I've probably been burning the candle at both ends a little bit too much with heading out to Kyoto last week and basically doing a lot more than what I should do. So I've been staying up a little bit too late. So I think my body's just run down and I was more susceptible to picking up things that were going around. So I haven't had anything to eat since yesterday, and there really isn't anything in the cupboard. So I've decided to head off to treat myself to just a light breakfast of some toast, egg, and coffee. That's all I really feel like I can manage to eat at the moment. I just want to build up my energy so I can go grocery shopping for some nice healthy food, and I can start with looking after my body that way. And then tomorrow I'm going to get started on the house and get it warmed up for winter. As I was enjoying my breakfast, I was making a mental note of all the different things that I need to start thinking about to get my house warm again for the new season. But first things first, I really need to focus on filling my fridge with some healthy food to get me going for the week and give me a bit of energy so that I can tackle some of these projects. Shopping for one is actually super easy in Japan because a lot of things come in small individual serve packs, and it's really cost effective as well. I bought 3 packets of meat, some vegetables, some noodles, and soup. And this will probably last me 4 or 5 days, and the total bill was 2,300 yen. This little outing was about all I could manage on this Saturday. I went home, tucked myself back into bed, and just started reading a manga. Sunday, I woke up feeling a lot better with a lot more energy and ready to tackle the day. My first priority is to get this cold house feeling a little bit warmer. Now, my house does have insulation in the ceiling, walls, and a little bit under the floor in some parts. But it is still a very cold house, and I think it's to do with the single pane glass windows. Now, I have put bubble wrap on my windows, and you could see that in the video I made last year, and that really does make a difference. This is the footage from last year when I installed the bubble wrap on my windows, and I have to say it was quite an easy job to do. I'll put a link to the video in the description about my Japanese winter hacks that I used last year to keep the house warm. And having single pane glass windows, it does let a lot of cold in, and this method really did work for me, especially in the lounge room where I'm sitting right near the window. But it's the little things around the house that also really help to keep the house warm. And this lounge cover is great for summer. It protects the lounge from Millie and her claws and anything she does on the couch, but it is definitely time to put the winter couch cover on. So I'm just throwing all of the summer cushion covers into the wash. I'm going to give that a wash, hang it up, and then I'll pack it away ready for next year when the summer's back again. Now, I always add in a little bit of smelly stuff as well because I'm packing it away for quite a few months. This really does help it keep fresh. Once the washing was on, it was time to cook myself a nice, healthy brunch because it is quite late in the day. It's already about, I think it's 10 o'clock now. And I've decided I'm going to cook myself one of the healthy noodles that I bought yesterday and just try and refuel my body. I am still loving my Japanese knife that I got from Tower Knives in Osaka. I pretty much cook with it every day now. A good knife really makes a difference. Now, I can't claim ownership for this recipe. This is a recipe that my boss at work, Natsumi, told me about. And it uses Korean gochujang, Japanese miso, a little bit of chicken stock, and a little bit of pork and some vegetables. It's a really nice hot pot with a really nice flavor. Now, the quantities are entirely up to you. You just add it until you're liking. So I just start with adding in the chicken stock, the miso, and the gochujang, which is the Korean spice. I just taste test until it's the right kind of spice that's ready for me. And then I bring the water to the boil, and you can add in tofu. I added in some pork. And then I add in the noodles and the vegetables and just bring it all to a boil. I just use the vegetables and any leftovers I have in the fridge. And that's pretty much it. It's super, super easy. And if you like it spicy, you just add more gochujang. And if you're not a spicy fan, you can just omit that. I'm still struggling cooking for one, and I always make a little bit too much. So I ended up making enough for two people. So I'm going to put the rest in the fridge, and that'll either be my dinner tonight or my lunch tomorrow. But it really did warm my soul and got me ready to tackle the rest of this cold house project. I was secretly hoping that autumn would last a little bit longer here in Japan. The autumn weather has been amazing. It's been sitting at a nice, comfortable 24 degrees, but I feel like we were robbed a little bit of our autumn because, yeah, it just turned really, really suddenly. And the cold wasn't around the corner anymore, it was literally here. Getting the washing dry is also a little bit of a challenge at the moment because once again we've had sort of cloudy, rainy weather on and off, and that's probably why the weather changed so quickly and went cold so quickly. Millie, being a typical cat, has chosen to throw up on my summer rug a couple of times, and I've been washing it and wiping it down as much as I could, but it really needs to have a deep soak in the wash. I struggled so much to get it out from under my chair because this is a reclining chair and it's really heavy. It's not something I can lift on my own. I can move it round but can't lift it. All the little goodies you find under the chair. I also had these stick-on placeholders. They sort of hold your rug in place so it doesn't slide around the slippery floor. But I really need to soak this rug. It needs a good long soak to really clean it thoroughly, give it a deep clean because it's been out here for probably the last 6 months. So what I did yesterday was I left half the bath water in the bath, which I tend to do usually anyway, more because it's for disaster prevention. They say you should just leave your bath half full. So if we did have any kind of earthquake and the water was cut off, you've got a supply of water that you can use for different things. But I've put some detergent in the bathtub and I'm going to strip this rug. So I'm going to let it soak actually overnight with this detergent in there and just see if I can get a lot of the ingrain dirt out of it. It's always good to clean under the couch a few times a year because lots of things, even though this couch is quite low sitting, lots of things somehow manage to get their way under there thanks to having a cat that runs around like crazy sometimes. And I also want to give the whole floor a good mop with my microfiber mop. This year I am very, very spoilt in that both my boys are going to be here with me for Christmas, and they're both bringing some friends along. So I'm really lucky to have a full household this year. I just need to really start my Christmas prep early because I'm working right up until Christmas. Look at all that moisture that's come out of the air. I must go to the shop and get some more. It's amazing how useful these things are in your futon or your soft furnishings cupboard. It just stops everything from getting moldy, and I regularly replace those. So yeah, I must go and get some more. But I'm really happy that I packed all of these things away at the end of winter last year. Everything is washed and fresh, and I've got my hot carpet here, which I'm going to show you. The hot carpet has been an absolute blessing and keeps me really warm in winter. Pretty much everything in my house is from Nitori, including the sofa and the sofa cover. It's just been so much easier to buy everything from one place because it all fits together and just seems to work so well. This really is exhausting work when you're not feeling 100%. No time to rest. I've got to get this job finished so that the rest of my week is nice and warm and cozy. So I am going to put down my foil insulation, I guess you call it. I don't know what this is called. It's a really great invention, and it just reflects the heat back up. So when I put my hot carpet on top of this, instead of all the heat dissipating into the floor, it's going to keep radiating up, which is the direction you want it to go. I know that heat rises. This foil layer just really helps it to rise up. And the carpets that they sell here, the rugs, are made specifically to go on top of your hot carpet. So they just, as well, absorb all the heat. And it's really nice when you're sitting on the lounge and your feet are warm, and it actually does warm up the room a lot. Well, I'm really happy with myself to have this job done. Another person that loves this carpet is Millie. She absolutely loves this green rug when I've got the hot carpet turned on. She usually just lays out like spread eagle on the rug and trying to absorb all the heat into her body. Typical cat. They love all the warm places. Did you know that learning a second language is one of the best ways to train your brain? Studies show that it improves memory, focus, and creativity, and even helps slow cognitive aging. When you challenge your brain to think in another language, you're building new connections, just like a workout, but for your mind. If you've always wanted to learn Japanese, my course is the perfect place to start. I focus on the basics, learning hiragana, katakana, and understanding how the Japanese language works in a way that's simple, visual, and fun. Join me and start training your brain today. You'll not only discover the beauty of Japanese writing, you'll feel your mind getting sharper every step of the way. Check out the link in the description to get started. The summer rug stripped really nicely in the bathtub, and the next day we ended up with a bit of sunshine, so I was really happy to get that out on the balcony. And also some of my winter clothes as well that were in storage. I thought I'd just pull them out, give them a wash, and give them a refresh. But back to my weekend, and I do need to hit the shops one more time. Not that I want to, but I definitely need to go and get a few essentials. For example, I've totally run out of tissues. And a few other things that I just get at my local Conan store. So once again, I am hitting the shops this weekend to just get some of those essentials. Living alone means when you get sick, it's all up to you. There's no one to make a cup of tea or run to the store for cold medicine. But in a way, I've learnt to enjoy this time. These errands become my mini adventures. They force me to get out of the house, which sometimes makes me feel a little bit better as well. I do like wandering the aisles and looking at all of the different Japanese products. I like to compare prices of things, and I imagine what would the price of this be back in Australia. So for example, these boxes of tissues, I ended up going for these really soft ones because I don't want to get a scratchy red nose, but 578 yen, and that's for a 5-pack. And I'm sure for that price in Australia, I'd probably only be able to buy one box of tissues for this price. So I feel like the prices here are definitely a bit cheaper. Even though I still feel a bit run down, it is nice to be out and moving about, doing normal things again. There's something really comforting for me about having a small routine. Sometimes when I've been sick and stuck inside too long, I forget how nice ordinary life can feel. And when you walk through a store and you start picking up things and looking at things, you start seeing glimpses of other people and it makes you feel connected again. It's funny because each year around this time, it seems like everyone is doing the same thing. We're all getting ready for the Japanese winter. There's sort of an unspoken togetherness in that, I guess. So sometimes, getting out and about really is the best medicine. A little bit of movement and a reminder that being alone doesn't mean being lonely. It can just mean being peaceful and you're together in the fact that other people are doing the same thing as you. They're shopping for their winter essentials and things they might need. Well, it's been a massive weekend. I'm super tired. I know that Millie is too. She's already put herself to bed before I've come up tonight. And we've got all our winter blankets out. I put my hot electric blanket on my bed and I heated up the bed before I came to bed. I always unplug it, I just use it to get the bed warm, ready for bed. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for being here and watching. And I really look forward to seeing you again next week. See you later. Bye.